guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kate. I own two clothing boutiques called Vogue Society, one in Sarasota and one in St. Pete. I'm at my St. Pete store today and we're gonna do a little bit of a day in the life. I actually got here so early today and I'll explain why, because you guys know I'm not a morning person. But I was up at like 6 a.m., so unlike me, and here at 8 o'clock, I just went for a 3-mile walk and got myself some lunch. And now I have to film a collab with the Beach Waver. So I am opening up that right now. I'm gonna do my hair and then we will get back to the programming and I'm going to explain why I'm here so early today. Okay guys, I just finished my hair. I'm like an affiliate for the Beach Waver, so I have a code. I'll link it below. But I honestly do love what it does to my hair. It's the only thing I curl my hair with, if you're wondering. But anyways, had to film a collab with them and now I'm here. It's good I'm here early because I went for a 3-mile walk this morning. I got my lunch, I filmed a collab, and I still have an hour until the store opens. Although I may try to open a little bit early today. We'll talk more about that later. But why did I show up to my store in St. Pete 3 hours early today? Let me tell you. I don't know if I've talked in depth on here about my panic attacks, but I have really bad panic attacks. And I do have just like general anxiety like as well, but panic attacks are a whole new thing. And it is really hard to explain if you've never had a panic attack before. You really like wouldn't be able to understand it. I didn't understand like anxiety, depression, like all that kind of stuff until I had like a panic attack and realized that your brain is so powerful. And I'm gonna get into all of that. But essentially the reason I'm here early is because I cannot drive myself here. I live in Sarasota, so maybe I can like show a map here or something of like where our store is in Sarasota and then where our store is in St. Pete. But if you know anything about the area, you know that if you're going from Sarasota to St. Pete, you need to go over this huge bridge called the Skyway Bridge. And whether you have problems with anxiety or not, there are a lot of people who refuse to drive over this bridge because it is terrifying. It is so high, it's so long, and I just like physically and mentally just cannot drive over it. And so when I decided to open a store in St. Pete, I knew that that was going to be like a factor of like, it's going to be really tough for me to drive up here by myself. Not saying I will never be able to do it, but just right now, like it's just probably not in the cards for me. So anyways, every time I come up here, I always come with my mom. But my mom's friends are in town this week and they are, you know, doing their girl things, having a vacation. So my mom's not coming into work today. And I could have had an employee come up here, but I honestly wanted to come up here. I have so much work to do. And I just like I love being here on Tuesdays and Wednesdays because that's usually my schedule right now is working here Tuesdays, Wednesdays, working at UTC Thursdays, Fridays, and then typically having the weekend off. Oh, and I work at UTC on Mondays. Anyways, so my aunt, who's my mom's sister, she lives more down towards us and she actually works in St. Pete. Well, she works from home, but her office is in St. Pete and she goes here only on Tuesdays. And she had to be at the office at 8:30. So I just kind of hitched a ride up with her. I'm able to like drive to her house and everything like that, which is like a half hour from mine. But I'm just not able to go over the bridge by myself. So that is why I am here 3 hours early because I hitched a ride with her. And I had some time to kill in the morning, so I got some things done. Anyways, I'm just gonna go into a little bit more about my anxiety and panic attacks because I'm sure it will help someone. And if you guys want to understand a little bit more about me, I feel like this tells a lot about me. But if this is triggering for you in any way, please, or you just aren't interested at all, go ahead and skip. We are still gonna do boutique things today. But this is just a really big part of my life that I don't really think that I've talked much on here. But I'll just kind of give you the backstory of how it started. So growing up, I had never had any ounce of anxiety. I never had like nothing. Like I remember my best friend, like growing up, she would be like, oh my God, like I just have such bad anxiety. I feel like everyone's mad at me. And I'm like, well, why would people be mad at you? Like, what'd you do? And she's like, nothing. And I was like, well, then why would people be mad at you? Like, I just like couldn't understand. And if you don't struggle with anxiety, you might not understand that either. Now I get that, but I just didn't get it. And when I was in college, I just feel like in college, I was going out a lot, drinking a lot, like doing all of the normal college things. And I feel like, honestly, alcohol played a huge part in like why my anxiety has started. And I remember the first time I ever had an anxiety attack, and I won't even call that a panic attack quite yet, but the first time was during the summer between my junior and senior year in college. And it was my friend Jordan and we drove from our hometown because we both went to Penn State. And we lived like 2 or 3-ish hours away from our college, and we're from the same hometown. So he and I drove to Penn State for a weekend. It's called Arts Fest weekend. If you went to Penn State, you would know, but if not, it's just like it's like an art festival that happens, but a lot of like kids that go to school there will like go back during that weekend for the summer just to like, you know, party. And so we went and on our way back, I was a little bit hungover and I was the one driving. I loved driving at the time. I was like, I got you, I'll drive. So we're on our way home, driving, talking like normal. And all of a sudden I'm driving and I'm just starting to feel like heart palpitations. I'm a little dizzy, I'm a little tired. And I didn't understand that at the time, but like I was really just hungover. And it's crazy because that moment right there triggered my anxiety for literally the rest of like literally 10 years later. Here I am. Cause I was maybe not 10 years, but whatever, you know what I mean? So at that point I was like, I don't feel good. And he's like, okay, well then I'll drive. So he drove. We drive back. That summer I had an internship at Target, which again, love retail. I'm the retail queen. Had an internship there for their management program, and I was actually supposed to work there out of college. I got a full-time job offer and stuff, which was really nice because my senior year of college, I didn't have to worry about getting a job like everyone else. I was like, I'm set. So but yeah, I loved it there. Anyway, thankfully the people I worked with were so nice. And I remember I was having anxiety, when I went to work like the next week, because I kept thinking about this thing that happened to me when I was driving. And I kept thinking, oh my gosh, like, I think there's something wrong with me. I think there's something wrong with my heart. What if I pass out? I kept thinking that I was going to pass out. So as we're working and you're on your feet and stuff, when you're working retail, I just kept saying like, I feel out of breath. Like I don't feel good. And they kept being like, okay, well, you know, if you don't feel good, like go home. At the time, I kept going to the doctor, and the doctor put me on like, I don't know what it's called, like, but like a heart monitor, like 24-hour heart monitor. He checked everything and he's like, your heart is so healthy. Like, cause I was super in shape at the time too. I've been working out for years, and he's like, no, you're like literally so healthy. Like there's nothing wrong with you. Like, I think it's just anxiety. And that's like the first time I was like, what? Anxiety? Like I just like did not understand. So from then on, I was typically okay at work, but I started noticing, cause I would drink like energy drinks and stuff at the time. And I started noticing if I had like an energy drink, like I remember this one time it was like the Mio energy, and I just drank way too much of it. And I did not feel good at all. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was the first time like I realized like things are affecting my body and my brain. And so anyways, I get through that. I ended up going on like a medication, which I ended up I stopped taking the medication. And I was kind of off, like on and off a few medications that I just like, I would take when I felt anxious, and then that was it. When in reality, I should have been taking something every single day, but I just didn't take it seriously at the time, because at the time, although I felt like it affected me a lot, I had no idea what was to come in the future. So I got through college, all was fine. The only problem that I had was driving on highways, because I felt like all this stemmed from the one time that I drove. I felt uncomfortable driving because I felt like if these heart palpitations or like the feeling of passing out and the feeling of getting dizzy is happening when I'm driving, then that's a really dangerous situation. And so this is the spiral that started to create in my mind that still happens to this day. And it's super unfortunate because driving is just a huge part of life, obviously. Although there are so many people out there that don't drive, and you would be surprised the amount of people that this actually affects, which is crazy. I was driving back and forth. I was at that point able to drive from Jacksonville to Sarasota, because when my mom and I originally moved to Jacksonville, or to Florida, we lived in Jacksonville, where Cody lived in Sarasota. And if you don't know that whole story, I think I have the story of my whole journey of my boutique somewhere on the page. But I was able to drive back and forth, and sometimes that was like a 5-hour drive depending on traffic. So that was very like anxiety ridden for me. Like I felt very anxious the whole time when I would drive, especially on the highways, but I would take like the back way, and that was fine. And my anxiety didn't really start to spiral, and I didn't really have a true panic attack until a few years later. We moved to Sarasota, and I was driving. The first time I ever had a panic attack, of course, was when I was driving, of course. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if I had been drinking the night before, or if I had drinking too much caffeine, because caffeine obviously affects anxiety, and alcohol, like the effects of alcohol the next day for sure, like enhance your anxiety as well. So I was driving from our house in Sarasota to middle of Florida. I had to drive to the middle of Florida. It was getting late. It was like around 7 o'clock. And the reason why I was going there was because Cody's brother lived like Central Florida at the time, and Cody had already been there. I don't know why. I don't remember, but I remember I was like meeting them to go to his brother's house and stay there for the weekend. And so I'm driving there by myself, and I'm just like not feeling good. I call my mom, and I'm like, I just feel really anxious. And then it boiled over to the point of me having a panic attack. And when I tell you, when you have panic attacks, and I know it's so hard to understand. If you don't like get it, you don't get it. But when you have a panic attack, it feels like you're dying. Your brain legitimately feels like it is like impending doom. Like you are going to die. This situation, like it's just like time doesn't exist. Like changing your thoughts is so hard. Like you can't just be like, okay, calm down. Like this has happened before. And you're fine. Like every single time that you have a panic attack, your brain says, but this time, what if it's different? Every single time. And I've been having these panic attacks for years, and I still cannot get that out of my mind. I have tried therapy. I have tried so many things. Now, the one thing that I tried that did work, because after this happened, it got so bad during the years of, I would say 2019 to 2020, you guys, I did not drive a car. Like for an entire year, I did not drive a car. The only time I would drive a car is if someone else was in it, or if it was legitimately less than 5 minutes. Like I could not even drive myself to my store at the time at all. And it was only like 10-15 minutes away from my house. Like I could not. It was terrifying. I struggled really, really badly. And it wasn't until I got on Lexapro that I was able to, my panic attacks were able to stop. So I was on Lexapro for a few years until my anxiety was almost non-existent. Like I was in such a good place in like 2022. I was in such a good place. I think that was around the time. Did not like need it. I still wouldn't like drive very far away from, like I wouldn't do like over like trips that are like over an hour, just because I was a little like traumatized, but I really had no problem driving on highways or anything like that. And so I was just like, you know what? I don't need to be on this medication. Like I'm literally fine. Big mistake. I got off the medication, and within a few months had my first panic attack at a stoplight again. Stoplights are also a really big trigger for me. Don't ask me why. I feel like trapped there. And so feeling trapped is another like big trigger for me. So I got back on the Lexapro, and the Lexapro unfortunately didn't work the same the next time. Like it did not do the same thing that it did the first time. I was on it for a few months, and I was still having panic attacks all the time. And then the next thing that happened to me that was really big for me was that, I can't remember the exact time, but I remember my mom and I went on a buying trip in Dallas, Texas. And on the way there, I had a panic attack on the plane. And I had always like thought of my panic attacks as something where I didn't like to be in control Like, for example, I didn't like to be in control of my car because if something medically, I don't know even why I have this fear, you guys. I've literally never even gotten in a terrible car accident, knock on wood, and I've never even passed out in my entire life. So why would I have these fears? That's the problem. I don't know where they're coming from. Anyway, but so it's always been like, if I'm in control, like this is a dangerous situation. When I was on a plane, it never bothered me. Well, the other thing is I hate heights. I hate heights. Like, I will not go on a tall building. I literally, like, going to the top of the Empire State Building is one of my worst fears. Like, I will not go up there. However, going on a plane, I feel like it's so high that it doesn't really register in my mind. So I was never afraid of height on an airplane. And also I am not in control on an airplane. So when I go on an airplane, I can just relax. Like, if anything were to happen to me, whatever, like, but then my mom and I are on the flight going to Dallas this one time, and I look at her and I'm like, I'm having a panic attack. Like, all of a sudden it hit me like a train, and it was the scariest feeling because you cannot get off a plane if you want to get off a plane. Like, you can't get off. Like, you're stuck on there. Like, what are you going to do? And so I started having this very overwhelming feeling like I need to get off this plane, but like I literally couldn't. And I didn't want to make a scene or anything like that. So this was the hardest, scariest moment for me. It lasted probably about like 20 minutes. And although that doesn't sound too bad, those 20 minutes are so scary. And so I was terrified to go back from Dallas to Tampa. And when I did, I was able to do it. I'm pretty sure, because at that point I was prescribed Xanax for like emergency situations, which obviously this was. So when I went back, I took a Xanax. And ever since then, I've been taking Xanax on planes, but planes are still kind of a trigger for me just because I can't get off. So I always have my Xanax with me just in case. I have a very low dose and everything like that, but I always need it. I actually remember then the following buying trip that we were going on. I don't remember the time frame of this, to be quite honest, maybe like a year and a half ago. We were going to Vegas and for Magic, and I had a mental breakdown the night before because our trip was like early in the morning, and I called my mom and I was like, I don't think I can get on the plane tomorrow. Like, I don't think I could go. And my mom was like so supportive, and she's like, if you can't get on the plane, like, we won't go. Like, and no one's counting on us to be there. Like, this was before I had like worked with Magic and stuff. She was like, no one's gonna care. No one's gonna know. Who cares if we waste the money on the plane tickets? Like, who cares? Like, you don't have to go. So that made me feel a lot better. And we ended up going to the airport the next day, and I ended up being fine. I got on the plane. It was terrifying, but honestly, thank God I got on the plane that day, because if I didn't, I don't think I would have flown since. Like, I truly do not think I would have flown since to this day. But anyways, that is my journey with anxiety and panic attacks, and it is truly terrifying. I probably have a few panic attacks a month at this point, if not like maybe like once a week, like when I'm driving, and it just hits me at random times. I obviously do not avoid caffeine, but I'm usually good. Like, if I just have like my regular like coffee, I'm usually fine. It's just if I go overboard with it, with drinking, I just know, like, I've thought about like cutting drinking out, and I've definitely made it a point to cut it out when I need to. Like, I will not drink the night before a flight. I will not drink a lot if I know I have to drive somewhere in the morning. Like, I just won't. So that's something that I deal with, but definitely the Skyway Bridge is something that scares the living nightmares out of me, because heights, and because of it's a highway, and also there's construction going up there, so you can't even pull over. It is so terrifying. Anyway, that is my anxiety whole journey. I mean, I could talk about it for hours because there have been so many things that happened to me, but I just want to share that because it's a huge part of my life. And if you guys ever see, weird things like that, I'm getting, like, I drive places with my mom, because I've definitely mentioned it before. It's just that I haven't really gone into detail with it. So anyways, let's get into the day. It is now 10:15, and I do have to open in 45 minutes, but I did want to shoot new arrivals today because I have my Thursday drop. I'm doing like, I just decided that I'm going to be doing new arrivals every Thursday night and make that like a big thing. I'll have to talk about that in another video too, because we've already went on for too long. But I obviously like can't go out and shoot like even like by myself on the street because that's kind of hard. And even if I use a tripod, what am I going to do? Like carry the clothes down the street with me? So I did want to take mirror selfies, but I'm just going to have to figure out the lighting. And the other awkward thing is too, is that since we don't open until 11, if I'm like, I'm wanting to use the natural light right by our windows, right by our front door. And if people like come up to the door and like see that I'm like, the lights are on, which they need to be on to take pictures, and I'm like taking pictures, I feel like they're going to think we're open. And it's so awkward when someone like comes up to the door and they're like, and I'm like, hi, like it's just so awkward. I feel bad, but at the same time, like I have to get these things done as well. And there's like a surf shop, like a bathing suit type store like next to us, and they open at 10. So it's just kind of weird. They probably assume we're open. Anyways, let's figure it out because we have a lot to do today. And also I have not, you guys know I'm a big Bachelor girl. Do you guys know that? I'm a big Bachelor girl. And I did not finish watching The Bachelor last night, so I'm trying to avoid social media until I do. So if it is slow between customers, well, literally, I hope there's a few minutes between some customers because I will just like have it on my computer and be like, play. I need to play it. I need to listen to it because I feel like this week is a big week. I need to see who goes home. I'm so interested. So anyways, let's get on with the day because we have so much to do today. So I think I figured out how I'm going to shoot pictures for today. I obviously have to do mirror selfies, but I was able to easily remove the one mirror that we have from the dressing room, put it over by the window, and I am just going to shoot a few things in here quick, do a few try-ons before we open. So I guess I won't be opening early. Just gonna open at 11 and all the lights are on and I'll be right by the window. So hopefully nobody thinks that we're open ahead of time. But thankfully I've been kind of looking and it didn't seem like a ton of people who would be shopping here are like walking by. I feel like it's a lot of locals, but hopefully later more people will be out and about. But I'm gonna have to change. That's the mirror I took the dressing room from. And then, or the dressing room I took the mirror from. I'm gonna change in there and then I have the mirror set up here. So hello. And then the mirror is right here. I don't like how the skirt legs looks on me, but we'll make it look cute for the pic because it'll look cute on other people. But look at how good the lighting is when I come up close. So I just have to angle it the right way. So yeah, not everything that I sell, I'm like in love with. I actually am in love with this skirt. It's just not for me, but it's just because I feel like it's a little small on me. Anyways, we're gonna shoot and hopefully we can get some good content. It's literally 11 o'clock. I just heard the church bell goes off every hour, so I just heard it. And I'm like, I've gotta clean up here now and get the store ready to open. I really want to take more content though. I only got a few things shot, but the pictures are turning out really good and everything. So maybe I'll just keep the mirror here for now and we'll unlock the door, turn the music on, and do everything else normally. Okay, it was a little bit of a fiasco trying to open up this morning, but honestly, we're an hour in, it's almost noon, and I haven't even had anyone walk through the door. So that's just the reality of it. I'm packing some orders now. So with our 2 storefront locations, I set it up so that way if it was at UTC, then it would like pull it from the inventory there. But if it wasn't, then it would fall back to the St. Pete store, which is this store. So some of the orders I'm able to fulfill completely here. But for example, this one, they ordered 3 shirts and I don't have the 3rd one here. It's at UTC. So it tried to pull the whole thing from UTC, pulled one of the shirts from there that's actually only available there. And then the other 2 were only available here. So I'm grabbing that. And then I'm just gonna put it in a poly mailer for now and write on a sticky note the person's name and the order number and then what we need to add to it, just so then I can like hand it to Summer at UTC and she could finish it off from there. So I just won't seal it up yet. Oop. But I will add that to my Hulken bag to take down there. I have had some customers today, but just a lot of looky-loos. I am trying to, I have all these orders, so all of these still need to go to UTC. So I am putting these in my Hulken bag, and I have all the Post-it notes on them. So I'm just gonna place them in here. And I was trying to pack the ones that I could pack here, but for some reason on my computer here, I have both my computers right here, but this one where I have it connected to the Dymo, my mouse was only clicking, like right clicking. Like every time I went to click on something, it would right click. I looked it up, couldn't figure it out. So I restarted the computer. I had to wait until customers were gone. Oh, why is the map popping up? I had to wait till customers were gone because the music plays through here. Looks like it's working normally again. I was like, what? So packing those up and still having that productive day between customers. But I'm still trying to watch The Bachelor between customers too. That's why I have this laptop out. Oh my gosh, it's happening again. Look, every time I click, it just right clicks. So I don't know what to do. Oh my goodness, literally today has been a day. So after the mouse situation, we ended up getting busy. So that was good. But I go to check someone out, and as I go to check someone out, I had the steamer on behind me. So I like clicked it off real quick, and then I heard like the POS system will like make like a noise when it gets unplugged. Thank goodness she wasn't paying with cash, and also thank goodness like the card reader and the iPad still stayed on. I was able to check her out, but I thought I blew a fuse. So I like go back in the fuse box. There wasn't a fuse blown. So I come back here, I cannot figure it out. Turns out the extension cord for like everything back here was like unplugged just a little bit, just enough to turn it off. So that I had to figure that out. Okay. Then now I'm going to record, and I'm also like trying to make a TikTok day in the life, you know, boutique owner life, like just trying to do everything at once all the time. So as I'm doing all these things, I'm literally trying to record like little like clips of me like doing whatever throughout the day. And then my phone's like, oh, store like the memory like is low, and I'm like, oh my god, I hate when that happens, because then I go out and delete all these videos, I delete all these apps, all this stuff, and then I swear I delete like half of my stuff, and then it still says like the storage is low, and it's almost like you have to like wait for the things to like delete. And I'm like going through my I'm permanently deleting things, I'm going through the trash, all that, so dealing with that. And also I went to laminate new signs for our sale rack. I always will use colored paper, if you're wondering like how I make my signs. A lot of the times I use colored paper or white paper, like, and I make a design on it, whatever. And then I laminate things. So laminator is a must-have if you have a storefront, just because it makes the sign look way better, way more professional. And so I was laminating something, and someone walked in, and I forgot I was laminating something. I come back and it's all like shriveled up. I'm like, thank God it didn't catch on fire. Oh my gosh. So anyway, I just got in a order for my wholesale brand. So if you haven't joined my wholesale group on Facebook, it's still super small. Obviously we just started doing this, and I'm like not pushing it super hard because like I don't want to overwhelm myself. However, if you guys are interested in a lot of the t-shirts and stuff I make, I've been making like the espresso martini one that I had on. I did just do a lot of St. Patrick's Day tees. I know I'm a little bit behind on that one though, just because you probably wanted to order that a few weeks ago. But I did make some for myself, so I offered them at wholesale just now. But I am going to start working on Mother's Day soon, and I'm trying to think if there's any other like holidays, but I'm definitely going to be making some fun little designs on our graphics, and I am looking into manufacturers and doing our own line of clothes. So I'm really excited about that. If you haven't joined my wholesale group yet, please go ahead and do so. Just in case you ever see anything you like, you know. And you know, you could trust me. You could trust your girl to get things to you on time and to have good customer service and all of that kind of stuff. So anyways, I just got in a shipment of tees that I have to go press, and I'm like, I really want to get them done because I really want to merchandise for St. Patrick's Day, and I also really want to bring them down to UTC tonight so that they can merchandise for St. Patrick's Day. I already did some of it, but I want like more teas and all that kind of fun stuff. So I want to get it done, but I have 2 hours left. It is 4:15, so I have hour and 45 minutes. I know when my aunt comes back to pick me up today, she's gonna want to leave like immediately, so I can't stay late today. And so I'm gonna try to attempt to press the teas between customers. If I can just get in a good like hour, that's wishful thinking. Obviously, like I want customers to come in, but it's like, I wish they would all just come in at once, buy all the things and go, because it's like, I'm trying to do other things between them, and it's like someone's like always here, which is good. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. We've definitely picked up a lot here in this location, which is great. Yeah, let's go try to do that. I'm gonna end this vlog here though. So hopefully you guys learned something about me today, if anything. And I will be sure to, I'll probably vlog again later this week. So hold me to it. I love you guys. Thank you for subscribing. I see you. Be sure to join that wholesale group, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.